The Empress Dowager grandmother was gravely ill, so I left my husband and child in the fief and rushed back to the capital alone to attend to her. After 3 years apart, when the Empress Dowager recovered and I returned to the fief again, I discovered that the people were talking about Princess Zhaoyang's birthday, and that the prince consort was going to light the beacon towers on the city walls just to make her smile. I stood in the crowd watching my husband and his childhood sweetheart, Lu Shenshen, holding my child's hand as they ascended the city wall. Accepting the people's worship together, my son asked my husband, "You are having Aunt Lu impersonate Mother's princess identity. What will you do when Mother comes back?" My husband said coldly. "Your mother has a strong personality and has the Empress Dowager backing her up. She is of noble blood, so nothing will happen to her no matter what. But your Aunt Lu has no one to protect her except me. So it turns out his tenderness all those years was fake. If that is the case, then let someone else be the prince consort." Lu Shanxian wore my 100 birds paying homage to the phoenix robe, topped with a phoenix and pearl crown, the long golden embroidered train glowing in the sunlight. That was the outfit grandmother specially had made for me. Yet now it was worn by Shi Xuanshan's childhood sweetheart. The onlookers were thrilled. The princess and prince consort have such a wonderful relationship. The prince consort even said he has a mysterious gift for the princess today, just to make her smile. Everyone has seen how well the prince consort has treated the princess these past few years. Who wouldn't be envious? 3 years ago, when the prince consort brought the princess back to the city from her travels, that heartbroken look of his drove countless ladies and young misses in the city mad with envy. Si Xuanshan tightly held Lu Chenchan's hand, climbed up the city tower, picked up a torch, and handed it to Lu Chenchen, letting her light the beacon tower on the city wall. "Chenchen, once this fire is lit, you'll see the beacon towers not far apart light up one after another, continuously without end, all the way to the mountaintop. Didn't you want to see how soldiers attack a city? I've already ordered the city gates closed, pretending the city has fallen, letting them attack to rescue it. Then you'll be able to see how to attack a city." Lu Chenchen took the torch and gently walked toward the beacon tower. Just as the torch was about to be thrown into the beacon tower, I shouted loudly, "Stop!" I rushed forward, snatched the torch away, and threw it to the ground, fiercely slapping Lu Chench across the face. "What are you doing? This is for transmitting urgent military intelligence. The beacon tower can only be lit when enemies invade. How can it be a place for your amusement?" Lu Qinqian let out a delicate cry and fell into Xuanshan's arms. Seeing it was me, a trace of panic flashed in her eyes. "Elder sister." Si Xuanshan was stunned when he saw me, and said in a low voice, "Zhao Zhao, how did you come back? Why didn't you say something in advance?" And the commotion on the city wall made the common people below cry out in alarm. "What is going on? How come someone went up and hit Princess Zhaoyang?" Si Xuanshan grabbed my hand and said in a low voice, "Zhao Zhao, today is Xianxian's birthday. Whatever it is, let's talk about it when we return to the manor. Let her finish celebrating her birthday first." "Okay." "Shangxian has a delicate and timid nature. You frightened her." I looked around, standing at a distance were the city's high officials and nobles, all here to celebrate the princess's birthday. Now, seeing this commotion, they didn't know how to react for a moment. I shook off his hand and sneered. "Lu Shanshan's birthday, Shashanshan. Why is she wearing my palace dress and the phoenix crown bestowed upon me by the Empress Dowager for her birthday?" I rushed forward and grabbed Lu Shangshan. "This outfit is the 100 birds paying homage to phoenix robe that imperial uncle bestowed upon me. What status do you have? How dare you wear it? Do you know this is a capital offense?" Lu Shenxian cried out in pain and fell to the ground, a flash of hatred in her eyes. "This is a birthday gift from Lord Shi. What right do you have to hit me?" Shi Xuanshan grabbed my hand. "You come back and immediately want to turn everything upside down. Today is Xianxian's birthday. Can't you let her finish celebrating her birthday happily first before we talk? I won't hold it against you right now. Someone help her down." His tone was vague, and the people nearby didn't understand. Who is this person? Is she the prince consort's concubine? How audacious, to actually dare lay hands on the princess. The princess and prince consort are too good-tempered. Lu Shenxian listened to the discussions around her, her eyes darting. "Sister Zhao Zhao. Although I call you sister, you can't make a scene on my birthday. Today's lighting of the beacon tower is a birthday surprise that young Master Shi prepared for me. Her voice suddenly grew louder. Don't rely on the prince consort's usual affection for you to forget your status as a concubine. Someone take her away. Si Xuanshan said with a stern face. Haven't you heard the princess's order? Hurry and take her away. I watched the servants of the princess's manor rushing toward me. They were no longer the familiar people who used to be by my side years ago. It seems that during the years I was away, everyone in the princess's manor had been replaced by them. Shi Xuanshan did this to make others believe that Lu Shunshen was the real Princess Zhaoyang. 3 years ago, I brought the prince consort and our child to the fief. But before even a month had passed, Shi Xuanshan's childhood sweetheart, Lu Shanxian, came to our door, saying her parents had died, and she had no relatives or friends left, so she could only seek out Xuanshan, the brother figure she'd grown up with since childhood. Shi Xuanshan said they were childhood sweethearts, and Lu Shenshen was like a younger sister to him. They behaved with great propriety in front of me, never overstepping boundaries. So I believed his words and allowed Lu Shenshen to stay at the princess's manor. Who knew that shortly after, I received a secret imperial decree from the palace. Grandmother the Empress Dowager was gravely ill. I couldn't care about anything else. I had just settled them, father and son, before leaving the fief and rushing back to the capital to attend to her at her sick bed. The Empress Dowager was ill for 3 years. Only after she recovered did I feel at ease returning to my fief. I originally wanted to give them, father and son, a surprise. Who would have thought they would be the ones to surprise me? Lu Shenshen impersonated me and became Princess Zhaoyang, became his wife. I looked at Shashan, this man who once knelt before the imperial study for 3 days and nights just to beg to marry me. Yet now, for the sake of his childhood sweetheart, he didn't hesitate to pull off a substitution scheme, letting her impersonate a princess's identity and commit such a heinous crime. Who among you dares to touch me? I shouted sternly. My imposing aura and bearing made the servants rushing to seize me freeze for a moment, not daring to act rashly. I let out a cold laugh, looking at Shi Xuanshan mockingly. A concubine. Shi Xuanshan. Who is the concubine here? I wasn't aware of when you took a concubine. In these years I've been away, you've done quite a bit of scheming. A concubine who hasn't served tea to the principal wife. What kind of concubine is that? Nothing more than an unofficial mistress. Lu Shanxian had been helped up by someone, her face dark. Are you all no longer listening to this palace's words? Seize her for this palace. How dare she disturb my birthday banquet? Teach her a good lesson. The servants could no longer care about anything else and rushed forward to restrain me, making me unable to move. After leaving the palace, my heart yearned for home. I left the guards, attendants, and the princess's entourage far behind, bringing only my personal maid as we rode swift horses back first. My eager heart to see my husband and child has now landed me in a dangerous situation. I glared fiercely at Shi Xuanshan. Shi Xuanshan, you dare. He flicked his sleeve. If you kowtow to the princess and apologize, she might spare you if she is pleased. But if you keep spouting such nonsense, no one can save you. Lu Shanshan walked up slowly, holding a child's hand, and came to Shanshan's side. The familiar features of that child made my eyes well up. Sure, I am your mother. This was my son, Shan Shao. Shan Shan. Shan Te Shou. Shar tightly held Lu Shan's hand and looked up at her. Mother, when are we lighting the beacon tower? I can't wait anymore. I shouted loudly. Sure, I am your mother. Have you forgotten your mother? The beacon tower cannot be lit carelessly. Mother has told you since you were little that it is for transmitting urgent military intelligence and must never be treated as a game. Shuer said impatiently, besides lecturing me, what else can you do? I don't like you. Then he tugged at Lu Shenxian's hand. Mother, light it quickly. I looked at Shuer in disbelief. I carried him for 10 months and gave birth to him, raising him with strict discipline since childhood. But I did it to help him become accomplished. I never expected it would make him detest me so much. Lu Xianxian looked at me with a smug expression, then lowered her head and said to Shuer, the beacon tower needs to be lit after dark to look good. After saying that, she gently stepped forward, lowered her head, and said in a voice only I could hear, Look, so what if you are a princess? You are nothing but my defeated opponent. Your husband, your son, they're all mine. Now even the princess's identity is mine. What noble bloodline. Now you are just like mud under my feet, ugly and pathetic. This part really made my blood pressure spike. Lucian's smug face of a petty person who has gained power is so infuriating. As an English major student, I am really hit hard by her shamelessness. She is clearly a mistress who stole the nest, relying on deception and pretense to snatch away everything from someone else. Yet she still dares to show off and provoke right in front of the rightful owner. This kind of superiority complex, with absolutely no moral bottom line, is truly disgusting. After speaking, she stepped back. Someone tie her to the pillar and slap her mouth. However, today is my birthday. I don't want to see blood, so be careful with your strikes. My maid rushed forward. How dare you? How dare you disrespect the princess? Si Xuanshan pointed his sword directly at her throat. How dare you? How dare you shout and yell in front of the princess? Shout one more time, and I'll pierce through your throat. I loudly stopped him. Si Xuanshan, you dare. Aren't you afraid the emperor and empress dowager will find out you let Lu Qinqian impersonate the princess? This is a crime punishable by execution of the entire clan. He smiled and looked down at me. You are not the emperor's daughter. So what if you are a princess? Spending years in your fief, you'll barely have a few chances to return to the capital in your lifetime. Even if you die, as long as we never return to the capital, who would know who the real Princess Zhaoyang is? Don't worry, I'll write letters to the capital on your behalf, telling the emperor and empress dowager that you are doing well, just that you can't bear to leave your husband and children, and don't want to return to the capital. Si Xuanshan had already planned his escape route, setting up such an elaborate scheme for Lu Xianxian. He looked at Lu Xianxian tenderly, then turned to me impatiently. Shengxian and I are childhood sweethearts. She remained unmarried all this time for my sake. Actually, I don't have to kill you. You just need to stay quietly in the princess manor and let Shengxian handle everything outside. Isn't that fine? She came here alone to seek refuge with me. Besides me, she has no one else to rely on. She is different from you. Even without your princess status, you can still live well. But she is just a delicate daughter flower. Without me, what would become of her? Be magnanimous and yield to her, won't you? His disgusting face made me want to vomit. Si Xuanshan, I misjudged you. I thought you were a gentle and kind man, but I never imagined you were such a sinister villain. I will definitely report this to His Majesty and have your entire family exterminated. Back when I was selecting a consort, many came seeking marriage. I personally chose Xuanshan, who had just passed the imperial examination as Tanhua. Little did I know, he was the real wolf in sheep's clothing. Si Xuanshan straightened up and laughed loudly. Confiscate property and exterminate the clan. You crazy woman, you've completely lost your mind. Someone, slap her face until she can't speak anymore. As soon as he finished speaking, a servant woman came forward with a bamboo stick, several fingers wide, and slapped it against my mouth repeatedly. Soon my mouth swelled up red, my teeth were knocked until they bled, and bloody foam came out. Si Lang, today is my birthday. I don't want to see blood. Spare her for now, will you? Si Xuanshan embraced her. All right, I'll do whatever you say. The officials and their wives standing in the distance heard bits and pieces, and seeing Lu Shenxian plead for me, they all praised her endlessly. To be able to tolerate such a bold and reckless concubine, the princess is truly virtuous. The prince consort really dotes on the princess. He agrees to whatever she says. Just now, did I hear that mistress say she was the princess? How is that possible? If she were the princess, how could the child not know who his real mother is? Look how close he is to the princess, holding on tightly the whole time. Night slowly fell, and Lu Shenxian said with a smile, It is dark now. Shi Lang, can we light the fire? Si Xuanshan took the newly lit torch, held Lu Shenxian's hand, and slowly walked to the beacon tower. Wait a moment. After you throw the torch down and light it, you'll see the soldiers on the beacon towers. On nearby mountaintops, we'll light theirs one after another. The scene will be quite spectacular. Shuer clapped her hands. Great. I wanted to watch before, but Mother always said no. Today, I can finally see it. Lucian smiled smugly. Today, let Shuer light the fire together with me. Shuer hugged her waist tightly. I like Auntie Liu being my mother. Mother, Lu Chenchen smiled triumphantly. Good sure. Come, hold the torch steady. Let's light the fire together. Once the beacon tower is lit, the nearby military camps will think the city is in danger, and no matter how dangerous it is, they will send troops to rescue, falsely reporting military intelligence and treating the beacon tower as child's play is a grave crime. I endured the pain and spoke with difficulty. You can't, sure. You mustn't light it. See, Xuanshan, human lives are at stake. You can't treat this as child's play. You mustn't light the fire. Lu Qingqian smiled smugly. Even now, you still want to use your princess title to scare people. Lord Shi said to light the beacon fire today, to let me see the mighty force of soldiers attacking the city. Today is my birthday. I want to witness the power of the beacon tower. Si Xuanshan smiled indulgently. As long as you are happy, I don't care about anything. The ancients had lighting beacon fires to amuse the lords. Today I'll imitate the ancients. Just to make Chen Qian smile, what is wrong with that? Once the beacon tower is lit, soldiers from hundreds of miles around will rush here. Shi Xuanshan also ordered the city gates closed, deliberately making the people outside attack the city, just to let Lu Chenqian watch what attacking a city looks like. The soldiers coming to the rescue will think the city has already fallen, and when they attack the city, countless will die or be injured. Only the common people in the city will suffer. I shook my head desperately. No, Shi Xuanshan. Absolutely not. Lu Shenxian's right hand gently released, and the torch fell into the beacon tower, filled with tung oil and firewood. The fire went, whoosh, and ignited. Shooting up, the beacon tower was lit. No, I cried out heart-wrenchingly, but my face and mouth were both injured, and my voice was very weak. Quickly put out the fire, but no one heard. They only watched with great interest. Before long, beacon towers on distant mountain peaks were also lit. Slowly, one after another, in an endless chain. Some common people climbed high and saw it, excitedly calling down to the people below. It is really lit, one after another in an endless chain. Truly amazing, really beautiful to watch. Lu Xianxian covered her mouth and laughed. Really amazing. So they really can see the beacon fire from here. Shi Lang, will they come to the rescue right away? Shi Xuanshan held her and laughed softly. Of course they'll come. This is the princess's fief after all. If they knew the princess was in danger and didn't come, that would be a capital offense. The nearest western camp, their cavalry can probably get here in about an hour. You'll be able to see them then. From beginning to end, the soldiers who were driven to guard under the city wall finally discovered that the prince consort had lit the beacon fire on the wall, and rushed up like mad. Princess Prince Consort, the beacon tower cannot be lit, I shouted loudly. Someone quickly put out the fire. Lu Chanchen is not the princess, she is an impostor. She is just Shi Xuanshan's mistress. I am the real Princess Zhaoyang. But no one heard my weak cries. The soldiers rushed over, but were blocked by Shi Xuanshan's guards. How dare you? The prince consort is here, who dares to move recklessly. Shi Xuanshan took out my token. The princess's token is here. Whoever dares to move recklessly shall be killed without mercy. I glared wide-eyed. Shi Xuanshan, how dare you steal my token? Lu Qianxian snatched the token. What do you mean steal your token? This is my thing. What is it to you? How are you slapping her mouth? How can she still talk? Keep slapping her mouth for me. The servant woman walked toward me fiercely with a bamboo board. You talk too much and caused me to be scolded by the princess and prince consort. Looks like the beating was too light. After saying this, she struck my face hard with the board. My vision went black and I passed out. When I woke up, I saw Lu Chenchen and Shi Xuanshan standing together, talking with officials who were watching the excitement. Time passed second by second. I knew the longer it dragged on, the greater the danger to the common people. I was tied to a pillar. After struggling for who knows how long, the rope finally loosened. I struggled free with all my effort and rushed toward that basin of fire. With nothing to use for help, I had no choice but to take off my outer garment, wrap it around my hands, and overturn the entire fire brazier on the beacon tower. The brazier was really too hot, and my outer garment was made of silk. As soon as it touched the brazier, it caught fire. My hands immediately blistered, and both palms were completely burned. Lu Shenshen was frightened by the overturned fire brazier and let out a scream. Shi Lang, save me, she is gone mad. Shi Xuanshan kicked me down with one foot. I glared at them furiously. Shi Xuanshan, Do you know how serious the consequences of what you are doing are? His face turned iron blue. I will explain to the soldiers coming to our aid myself. It is nothing more than a joke for the princess's birthday. You really don't know what is good for you. You just had to ruin the surprise I prepared for Xianxian so thoroughly. I don't know how much time passed before Lu Xianxian cried out in alarm. Samonan's coming. In the distance, everyone heard the thunderous sound of horse hooves. Looking down from the city wall, there were several hundred armored cavalrymen, charging forward with unstoppable force. Western main camp cavalry here, open the city gates at once. I struggled desperately, looking at Shi Xuanshan. Quickly have someone open the city gates, otherwise they will attack the city. And countless people will die. You cannot bear this responsibility. I glared furiously at the group of foolish officials beside me, and pulled out a phoenix hairpin from my head. I am the real Princess Zhao Yang. If you continue this nonsense with the prince consort, the consequences will be unthinkable. Open the city gates now. My intense words and actions made the officials hesitate, as someone recognized that it was indeed the golden phoenix made by the palace, and began to step forward to persuade Xuanshan, prince consort. This is really quite inappropriate. That is right. The west camp is the nearby garrison. Open the city gates. The imperial troops won't randomly kill civilians. Si Xuanshan listened to the shouting outside the city gates, feeling somewhat panicked, but Lu Qian refused to comply. Tugging at his sleeve, Shilang, didn't you say you wanted to watch them attack the city? Her eyes rolled, and she pointed at me. How about we hang her out there? When they see her, they'll definitely believe the city has fallen and will attack. Si Xuanshan pinched her nose. You are so clever. Lu Qinqian looked at me and giggled coquettishly. Princess, don't you love the people like your own children? To avoid harming your subjects, how about we hang you on the city gate? Otherwise, I'll have to hang a few civilians out there instead. Summoning, tie her up and hang her on the city wall. I looked at Shi Xuanshan, my heart dead as ash. He just watched as his childhood sweetheart humiliated his wife, had me bound, and hung on the city gate. The city gate was very high. I was hung on the city gate, letting the cold wind blow against my face. My tears fell, crying both for myself and for the civilians about to suffer disaster. Finally, I mustered all my strength and shouted, I am the real Princess Zhao Yang. The princess inside is fake. The enemy situation is also fake. It was the prince consort, Shi Xuanshan, who lit the beacon fire to toy with you all. Don't attack the city. The general from Xidang rode out on horseback. He scrutinized me carefully, then took out his bow and arrow, aimed at me, and shot. I closed my eyes tightly. The sharp arrow flew through the air toward me, but I was unharmed. The rope binding me was shot through, and my body fell straight down. Just when I thought I was going to fall to my death, I landed in a broad, solid embrace. Zhao Zhao. I opened my eyes and looked at the person who had saved me and caught me in his arms. It was General Pingxi, Songquan. Tears filled my eyes as I stared at him in a daze. After so many years apart, he seemed only to have gained a weathered look, with no other changes. Back when the imperial son-in-law was being selected, Songquan had asked to marry me, but I rejected his kindness because I had fallen in love with Shi Xuanshan at first sight. Looking back now, I was ridiculously wrong. After my wedding, Songquan requested permission to go far away to the border, and once he left for several years, he never returned to the capital. I never expected that when we met again, it would be under such circumstances. He looked at the wounds on my face, his eyes full of heartache. Who hurt you? You are Princess Zhao Yang. Who dares to lay a hand on you? I smiled bitterly. Shi Xuanshan, for the sake of his childhood sweetheart, played the trick of lighting beacon fires to fool the lords. I just rushed back and ran into Lu Chen, impersonating me, enjoying festivities with the common people. Shi Xuanshan even closed the city gates, wanting the soldiers who came to rescue to attack the city for Lu Chen Mint. The common people inside don't know what is going on. They're innocent. Songquan, don't attack the city. Songquan looked at me, gritting his teeth. This is the prince consort you chose. How dare he treat you like this? Songquan turned his head and ordered, quickly call the military doctor to treat the princess's injuries. The rest of you, listen up. Storm the city gate. To catch the bandits, first catch their leader. Capture both the prince consort and that woman impersonating the princess together. Do not harm the common people. Yes. Several people dressed in tight-fitting clothes leaped down from their horses, took out grappling hooks at the base of the city wall, threw them up onto the wall, and began climbing up. People on the city wall began to scream. The soldiers all knew that today's farce was orchestrated by the prince consort and were already dissatisfied. Hearing their orders, they let them go in one ear and out the other. Xuanshan and Lu Shanxian were so anxious, they were jumping up and down. Quickly stop them. Don't let them up on the city tower. The soldiers simply didn't listen to them. They slowly walked to the edge of the city wall, pretended to fiddle with something, then shouted, "Oh no, they're coming up," and quickly dodged to the side. Song Quan's several subordinates climbed up the city tower and went straight for Xuanshan and Lushan, directly pressing daggers against their necks. Order the city gate to be opened. Just as the common people were in a panic, the city gate slowly opened, and the gate-guarding soldiers shouted loudly, "Everyone, don't panic. It is the garrison from the western camp." Several hundred cavalrymen entered the city in an orderly manner. Shi Xuanshan and Lu Shenshen were escorted before me. The phoenix crown on Lu Shenshen's head and her 100 birds paying homage to phoenix skirt had been stripped off by others. She knelt on the ground in disheveled clothing. "Your Highness Princess, I didn't intentionally impersonate you. I was just jealous of you. You have everything, yet you still wanted to steal my Shilang away. I just wanted to be a princess for once, to be Shilang's wife for once. If you hadn't come back, they would never have discovered it. Why did you come back? Wasn't it good for you to stay in the capital? In the capital you would forever be the treasured jewel of the Empress Dowager and the Emperor. Why did you have to come back and fight with me over Shilang? Truly selfish and shameless. What is most outrageous is that she twisted the princess's affection for her husband and concern for her family into stealing Shilang, completely ignoring that she herself was the one who destroyed someone else's family and committed a heinous crime. This kind of bandit logic of, "I am weak, so I am right, and I steal, so I am glorious," really broke through the bottom line. I was so angry at her shameless remarks that I laughed. She committed such a crime, yet it became my fault. Shi Xuanshan stared at her and shouted, "Shut up." Then he looked at me, his face full of tenderness. "Zhao Zhao, I was wrong. Will you forgive me this once?" I fiercely slapped Shi Xuanshan across the face. "Shi Xuanshan, as the prince consort, you let Lu Shenxian impersonate my identity as princess for your own selfish reasons, disregarding the safety of the common people. You even used my name to commit all kinds of misdeeds. How dare you do such things? Someone like you is not worthy of being my consort. I, Li Yunzhao, will divorce you today." I took out a divorce letter and threw it in front of him. "Shi Xuanshan, from today onwards, we have no relationship whatsoever." Shi Xuanshan scrambled over anxiously, clutching at the hem of my skirt. "Princess, your highness, no. Don't divorce me. I don't agree." I sneered coldly, leaning down to whisper in his ear. "Shi Xuanshan, you've been too smug for too long. You've forgotten that you are merely a man by this palace's bedside. To divorce or discard you is just a matter of my word." Shi Xuanshan, seeing the situation was hopeless, begged me with tears streaming down his face. "Zhao Zhao, I didn't mean it. Back then, when you received the secret decree and left the fief for the capital, it was Lu Shanshan who took advantage of the opportunity, drugged my wine, and made me have an affair with her. I was forced into it all. You know I love you, Zhao Zhao. Look, we still have Shuer, don't we? If we divorce today, wouldn't it damage the imperial family's reputation? I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I'll never see her again. I'll send her far away. From now on, we'll be a harmonious couple, and I won't look at anyone else." Lu Shenxian looked at him with tearful eyes. "Shi Lang, how can you say this about me? We were in love with each other. When did it become me seducing you? You clearly said that Li Yunzhao has a strong personality and isn't like a wife, that you prefer someone gentle and obedient like me, a woman who puts her husband above all. How can you say this now? Moreover, I am already carrying your child in my belly. You can't treat me this way. You can't send me away." After speaking, she crawled on her knees to my front. "Your Highness Princess, I've long been young Master Shi's woman. Just treat me like a cat or dog and keep me here. I'll be a slave or servant. I accept it all. I beg you not to sell me off." Shi Xuanshan was stunned. How could you be pregnant? I clearly made you drink the contraceptive decoction. Lu Xianxian smiled, covering her belly. Young Master Shi, wasn't it you who held me that day and said you wanted me to bear you a child, one as beautiful as me? You said you would definitely raise him like a precious treasure. And that when the time comes, you'd find a way to secure a proper status for us mother and child. Didn't you say all this? I did it all for you. That is why I switched out the contraceptive decoction. What? Are you unhappy that I am carrying your child? Si Xuanshan fiercely grabbed her by the throat. Are you trying to get me killed? You, the daughter of a criminal official who escaped. I've already shown great kindness by keeping you in the manor. Who wants a child born by you? Lu Xianxian's eyes rolled back from being choked. Song Quan's subordinates pulled them apart. How dare you? Her Highness has not yet given orders. How can you be allowed to make such a scene? Only then did Shi Xuanshan notice Song Quan nearby. He looked at Song Quan, then at me, and suddenly burst into laughter. So Princess wants to divorce me. All that about me lighting the beacon tower recklessly. About me having Xianxian impersonate you. They're all just excuses, aren't they? You are doing all this just because you want to rekindle your old flame with Song Quan and resume your past relationship. It was wrong of me to take a concubine. But does that mean it is okay for you to have an affair with the general of the pacifying West behind my back? Song Quan drew his sword and pressed it against his neck. I, Song Quan, conduct myself righteously and sit upright. Ever since Zhao Zhao married you, I have never seen her again. Don't use your filthy mind to think about her. Not everyone is like you. Si Xuanshan mocked. Just because you haven't seen her doesn't mean you have no selfish motives. You rushed here so desperately. Isn't it because of her? Do you dare say you have no other intentions toward her? Everyone knows that back then, you used all your military merits trying to exchange for an imperial marriage decree, but the princess simply didn't like you. Do you dare swear to heaven that after the princess divorces her husband, you won't seek to marry her? Do you dare say you have no selfish motives toward the princess? Song Quan declared resolutely. Her Highness is of noble birth with exemplary character. What is shameful about me liking her? If I like her, I will openly and honorably ask His Majesty for her hand in marriage. I am not like you, who doesn't know how to cherish what you have after obtaining it. I came here to rescue for the princess, and even more so for the common people in the city. Si Xuanshan, you treat countless lives of the common people as a joke. I will report this to the court and let His Majesty make the judgment. Just then, someone suddenly pointed into the distance and cried out in alarm. Look, isn't that the Eastern Chu army? Galloping toward them in the distance were indeed enemy troops wearing foreign attire. Close the city gates quickly, enemy troops are attacking. Everyone panicked. How can there be enemy troops suddenly attacking? I turned my head to look, and Lu Xianxian's lips curled into a smug smile. I grabbed her. It was you, Xianxian burst into laughter. Yes, it was me, Li Yinzhao. Do you think you've won today? Ha 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 ha. You'd better kneel down and beg me for mercy. Perhaps I can spare your life. Otherwise, once you fall into the hands of the Eastern Chu people, there'll be no chance left. I made a deal with them, using the beacon fire as a signal. As long as the beacon fire is lit, they'll attack under cover of night. I slapped her across the face. You dare to collude with foreign enemies? She shouted back in protest. You live in luxury and comfort. How would you know the suffering of a criminal official's daughter like me? They promised me that as long as I lure the people from the western camp into the city, they'll march their army to the border. Then they'll capture the princess and negotiate with the emperor. I glared at her through gritted teeth. What about the lives of all the people in the city? She laughed. All the people in the city. What do they have to do with me? They're just the lives of lowly commoners. The sooner they die, the sooner they reincarnate. After hearing these words, Shi Xuanshan stared at her in a daze. You've been using me all along. You've been lying to me. You used the birthday as an excuse to trick me into lighting the beacon fire, all to notify the enemy forces. Lu Shenxian burst into laughter. Of course I was using you, you fool. Did you think you had any charm that could make me willingly follow you? A useless person, a mediocre talent who only knows how to depend on women, Ptui. Shi Xuanshan lunged forward and punched Lu Shenxian hard in the face, blood instantly spurting out. Song Quan's subordinates had already tightly closed the city gates. The common people in the city were also mobilized. The strong and able-bodied helped transport weapons and provisions, while the old, weak, women and children all went into hiding. The enemy's great army was already approaching. I looked at the overturned brazier and called out loudly, "Quick, light the beacon tower and have the western camp send reinforcements." The beacon tower was lit once more. The firelight was clearly visible in the night, rapidly transmitting to the distance. The Eastern Shu army had already reached the city walls. Their leader shouted, "Hand over Princess Zhaoyang, and we can spare the common people from death. If you don't hand her over, we'll massacre the city. When that happens, you can only blame your princess for being heartless." I kicked Lu Chenchen. "Summono, tie her up and hang her on the city gate. We'll use her to negotiate with them." Lu Chenchen was tied up and hung on the city gate. She screamed, "General Yuan, save me. I gave myself to Xishuanshan for you. Went undercover in the princess's manor for 3 years and made great contributions for you all. You said you would save me and make me the general's wife." The enemy army burst into laughter. "She thinks she is worthy of being our general's wife. The general truly has charisma, just a casual remark, and this woman devoted herself to working for him wholeheartedly. Our general already got married last month. You want to be our general's legitimate wife." Lu Chenchen screamed impossible. "General Yuan said he would marry me. Save me quickly, I beg you. Get me down from here quickly." That General Yuan rode his horse to the front, looked up at her. "Lu Shenshen, I know your feelings for me. Don't worry, I'll give you a title." As he spoke, he raised his bow and arrow at her. "After you die, I'll give you the title of concubine and have you buried with honor." Lu Shanxian screamed in terror, "What are you doing? You lied to me." Before she could finish speaking, the sharp arrow had already pierced through her heart, pinning her dead on the city wall. Song Quan stood on the city wall, clad in armor, coldly looking down at the enemy general from Eastern Shu below. "General Yuan, haven't you suffered enough defeats at my hands?" General Yuan was quite arrogant below. "If it weren't for this woman being useless, you would already be my defeated opponent by now. Song Quan, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the princess, or I am going to massacre the city." Song Quan sneered, "Ignorant barbarian, do you think tricking us into the city means everything's settled? Once the beacon fire is lit, all the surrounding garrison troops can see it. Large reinforcements are already on their way. If you flee now, there is still time, any later, and you'll likely suffer another defeat. This time, I am afraid you won't have such good luck. I will personally take your head." Just as he was speaking, a scout ran to General Yan's side. "General, several troops are heading this way from not far off. They'll arrive in less than the time it takes to burn a stick of incense." The enemy troops below became chaotic. "General, we need to retreat quickly, or it'll be too late." "General, we've fallen for that woman's trap. The West Camp didn't come out in full force, but only brought a cavalry unit." General Yuan slapped the speaker to the ground with one palm. "What is the use of saying this now?" He glared fiercely at us on the city wall, gritting his teeth as he turned his horse around. "Retreat." After saying this, he led his men to turn their horses and withdraw. Someone pointed into the distance and shouted, "General Song, reinforcements have arrived." As soon as the words fell, Song Quan raised his hand. "Open the city gates, charge out." Song Quan led the cavalry out, and together with the arriving reinforcements, attacked the enemy forces from front and back, killing half of them and capturing several thousand finally. General Yuan's head was severed by Song Quan's sword, and they returned in great victory. Song Quan decisively defeated the Eastern Shu army, obtained the enemy leader's head, and escorted a group of prisoners back to the capital to report, with Shi Xuanshan also locked in a prison cart and sent back to the capital together. Shu'er was frightened badly that night. After regaining consciousness, he knelt before me crying bitterly. "Mother, Shu'er was wrong." Shu'er actually recognized a traitor as mother. "Please punish Shu'er." "Mother." Looking at his young face, I only felt desolate in my heart. A 7 or 8-year-old child should have long learned to distinguish right from wrong. His actions were truly chilling. I sent him back to the Shi family clan and found a renowned teacher to instruct him, hoping he could learn to be good, so that perhaps one day in the future we mother and son might see each other again. I returned to the capital together with Song Quan's troops, and the emperor sentenced Xuanshan to immediate execution. Song Quan had achieved great merit, and when the emperor asked what reward he desired, he knelt before the emperor just as he had done years ago. This subject only wishes to marry Princess Zhouyang and begs your majesty's approval. I stood behind him, looking at his upright figure, and in my mind flashed the image of that spirited young man from years past, dressed in fine clothes and riding a spirited horse with unbridled confidence. The young Song Quan sat on his horse, reaching out his hand to me. "Zhao Zhao, come with me." In the end, I requested my imperial uncle to agree to Song Quan's marriage proposal. When spring was in full bloom, we held a grand wedding in the capital. From then on, the rivers were clear and the seas calm, and we husband and wife remained together. In our daily lives, we must respect and fear the rules and not break the bottom line for personal desires. The beacon tower was originally an emergency military communication tool for when enemies invade, concerning the lives of all the city's people and the safety of the city itself. Yet Xuanshan imitated, lighting beacons to amuse the lords, casually lighting it just to make a beauty smile. Lu Qianshen, in order to seize what wasn't hers, not only impersonated the princess, but also colluded with external enemies, viewing the people's lives as the lives of lowly commoners, better to die early and reincarnate sooner. Both of them broke through the basic rules and bottom lines of being human and doing things because of their personal desires. In the end, one was sentenced to immediate execution, and the other was abandoned by the enemy army and nailed to death on the city wall. This warns us that all rules and important things in the world, whether public order, others' trust, or professional ethics, deserve respect and fear. No personal desire is worth sacrificing others' interests or breaking the bottom line. Momentary indulgence and luck may bring brief satisfaction, but will ultimately trigger irreversible disaster and backfire on oneself. Alright, that is it for today's story. I am Faye. See you in the next story.